Today's conversation is on B. B. What I realized is there was a particular point where I no longer needed to do techniques to indicate that I am all that I desire to be, that I have everything that I desire. And it was, we could say, quite liberating. I can really allow myself to be. I can really allow people to be. I can really acknowledge, as we say, reality is appearing to be in harmony. Everything appears to be in harmony. The journey for me started with a book called Think and Grow Rich in 2004. In there were 3 chapters that I found to be very helpful. All the chapters were helpful, yet 3 chapters pertain to today's conversation. They were the subconscious mind chapter, autosuggestion, and the sixth sense. 3 wonderful chapters. This was the first time when I came across this book in 2004 when I discovered subconscious mind, autosuggestion, and sixth sense. And while I always had, let's say, and I trust you have as well, always had a wonderful relationship with intuition, I found at times I was not allowing myself to be as I am. And I noticed that there was thoughts of limitation appearing in my mind. And we could say an inharmonious relationship with money. There was also inharmonious relationship with people. So it appeared as I was not allowing myself to be. They were not allowing me to be. I was not allowing myself to be in a harmonious relationship with money, which I then realized, reading the book, this kind of, let's call it, not allowing myself to be experiences, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Physically, it would appear as behaviors of hesitation, let's say, inharmonious behaviors towards people, towards money, towards myself. Emotional turmoil, rather than being emotionally regulated. Overthinking, thinking in terms of separation from being love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. What he suggested is that those kinds of thought patterns arise from particular beliefs stored in the subconscious mind, and through autosuggestion, you can purify the subconscious mind from those limiting beliefs. You can also apply autosuggestion to acknowledge that you already have that which you desire. For example, you may hear me say sometimes a wonderful autosuggestion, which I got from Neville Goddard, which is, I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. That autosuggestion points to the fact that I am what I desire to be now, that people appear to be in harmony with me. I appear to be in harmony with all. That reality appears to be in harmony with me as I am in harmony with all that appears. Or as I say sometimes, everything appears synchronistically to be in synchronicity. So he mentioned that you can apply autosuggestion, and he said it in his way. To me, it pointed to the fact that autosuggestions are acknowledgement of who I am authentically, as in beyond the conditions in mind, beyond the conditions in the subconscious mind, and those conditions can be released by not identifying with limitations. not conditioning consciousness to suggest that I am limited, that everyone that appears is limited, our relationships are limited. As a result of those particular beliefs that I was once identified with, I was not allowing myself to be in harmony with people. It even appeared that people were not seeming to be in harmony with me, which I know now was experienced that way through identification with those beliefs. So what I did was I applied the book, and my first definite chief aim was to get out of $50,000 debt, which happened. Mine also became purified from those particular beliefs by applying what he mentioned in the book. What I then started to notice was I would allow myself to be more so. Practically speaking, I would listen to intuition, and if intuition provided a hunch, plan, or inspiration, as he mentioned in the book, I would move forward with that inspiration, that plan, that task. And at times, while I was performing that task or that initiative or moving forward with that plan, opportunities presented themselves to put off any kind of thoughts that suggest that I am not love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, for example, if we were to broadly categorize it, which we know belongs to what the Bible refers to as the old man, who thinks in terms of separation from being love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And as you are not the old man, as I am not the old man, we acknowledge that that is clearly not us really thinking. That is what is called old man thinking, and you are not the old man. So what happens then is I naturally allow myself to be with those experiences, with those tasks, with those projects. Body appears to flow, emotions appear to be regulated, clear thinking. As I say sometimes, there is no technique required to be in flow. Now, as mind became purified by not identifying with the thoughts of not being who I desire to be, not having what I desire, which is not me really thinking. Me really thinking, you really thinking, is thinking from the premise of fulfillment, from being love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. As the fact that you exist, existence equals love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Not because of this or that condition. Those conditions in mind, the conditions placed upon consciousness, belong to what, the Bible refers to it as the old man. Why does the individual need to condition consciousness when reality is perfect as it is now? And what we can say we truly desire is allowing ourselves to be, allowing people to be, allowing reality to be in harmony. This is what I mean by be. So what happened was I got out of the $50,000 debt. I applied the information in the book to move up in my corporate career. I built an IT business to success from 2009 to 13. I built a consulting practice, a YouTube channel to success, this one here, investment portfolio to success, etc. And I also applied this to relationships, which again is simply acknowledging the fact through auto-suggestion that I am love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. So with respect to a wonderful lifestyle with business, for example, you could use that auto-suggestion that Neville Goddard gave, which is, I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. That points to the fact that you are fulfilled. That points to the fact that reality is in harmony with you. Or as I mentioned earlier, you allowing yourself to be. You allow people to be. You allow reality to be. And everything appears to be synchronistically, we could say, in synchronicity. All is in harmony now. Reality equals harmony. Reality, to me, means harmony. This did not make any sense when I was identified with the old man thinking. And that's okay. No shame, no condemnation. What I did was actually nothing to purify the subconscious mind from the illusory beliefs on the journey to actualizing those visions. And this is what I mean when I say I did nothing except allow myself to be. I didn't do any special techniques. All I did was understanding that these beliefs of limitation, these thoughts of limitation arise from these beliefs of limitation, if identified with, generates, let's say, behaviors that seem very stress-based, force-based, emotional dysregulation, we could say, and further thoughts of disharmony in the mind, mental confusion, lack of mental clarity, illusion. The reality is you do have mental clarity. You acknowledge that you transcend these beliefs of limitation in mind, and clarity arises, practically speaking. So, what happened was I did nothing, no technique required. What I mean by this is I remained in my flow. I allowed myself to be. So, I would receive via the sixth sense tasks, projects, plans, hunches, and inspiration. They were received within. That's what he said. He said you would receive hunches, plans, inspiration within and move forward with them. So I would move forward with them. And then on the journey, as I would move forward with these tasks, projects, initiatives, there may be opportunities presented to put off the former conversations of limitation, to not identify with the illusory thinking that suggests that I am not love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. This is how I would, in that moment, by doing nothing, allow myself to be. Well, a person may say, well, Joseph, you were doing the tasks, initiatives, and projects. Yes, I was allowing myself to be, doing the things that I genuinely desire to do. Those weren't things that I don't want to do. They were received within. The plans, the hunches were received within. I allowed the emotions to release. I did not identify with the illusory thoughts. I allowed body to flow. You could say I allowed myself to be. I allowed the experience to be. I allowed the environments to be. If it involved people, I allowed the people to be. And as I would take these opportunities, you could say, to not identify, to not do the unnecessary, we could say, which is identify with the old man thinking, which is not me really thinking, not you really thinking. You really thinking is thinking clearly from the premise of being love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. There's no need to think otherwise. The thoughts that suggest you lack love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment belong to the old man, and you are not the old man, or as the Bible also refers to, the former self. And you are not the former self. You are the real self. You are real here, now, allowing yourself to be as you are. Now, as I remained as I am, as I allowed myself to be as I am, we could say, what happened was mind became purified, and I noticed that I would experience allowing myself to be with these tasks, initiatives, projects on the journey to actualizing the vision, the entrepreneurial successes, the entrepreneurship initiatives, the projects, the relationships, etc., the workouts while I was running, while I am doing my day-to-day activities, we could say. I allow myself to be. This is what I mean by be. It is experienced as physical, emotional, mental integration with the spiritual truth that you are all that you desire to be now, that you have everything that you desire now, that you don't need to try to force or convince yourself that you have everything that you desire because you've gotten to the point, let's say, of acknowledging that reality is in harmony with you as you allow yourself to be as you are, as you allow people to be as they are in perfect harmony, as you allow environment to be in perfect harmony, and it appears that way. It appears to be synchronistically in synchronicity, as in people may appear to say the same thing that you imagine that is in harmony. They may say it differently, although they say the same thing that you imagine that is in harmony. They appear to be in harmony with you. As you allow people to be, there's no need, we could say, to force, try to control, manipulate. Body appears to flow, emotions appear to flow, clear thinking arises in mind. Everything, we could say, is allowed to be. And why I say allowing yourself to be, allowing everything to be, allowing people to be, allowing environments to be, why I use the word allowing, is old man beliefs, which at that time were stored in the subconscious mind, were generating the illusion that I need to force or control, rather than acknowledging that, and no shame and condemnation, rather than acknowledging the fact that reality is perfect as it is now. You are perfect as you are now. As I always say, you are perfect, whole, complete, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, for no reason at all. Not because of this condition or that condition, as in, if this condition is met, then you allow yourself to be. And if this condition is not met, then you don't allow yourself to be, which is an illusion. That's a condition that belongs to the old man and can be released by not identifying with those thoughts of limitation or auto-suggestion. Either auto-suggestion points to the fact that you are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, and also not identifying with thoughts of limitation that seem to suggest you are not love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Both point to the same thing. You could say two different ways of getting to the same point. That's what my journey has been. It's been a combination of the two to eventually get to the point where I can effortlessly allow things to be, allow myself to be, allow people to be, environments to be. In the earlier stages, it was challenging. Why was it challenging? Through identification to the dogmatic beliefs, the conditional beliefs. So I stopped conditioning consciousness through the release of those particular beliefs, to the simple acknowledgement that I am who I desire to be. Now, for no reason at all, we could say. It got to that point, at a particular point, for no reason at all. First, it was, I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. I have this, I have that, I am this, I am that, which is fine. It says the same thing, which is, I am all that I desire to be. I have everything that I desire. Then all of a sudden, I came to the realization that the fact that I exist is all that I desire to be. The fact that I exist is an acknowledgement that I have all that I desire. So then I started saying it that way. I am love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment for no reason at all. You are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment for no reason at all. People appear to be, to me, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, let's say, in relationship for no reason at all. Not because they did this and didn't do that, or did this and didn't do that. I released the conditions placed upon consciousness, and then I discovered that no technique was required while in flow. So I simply, you could say, remain in flow by allowing myself to be. So again, in summary, what did I do? Well, I did nothing other than take those tasks, projects, and initiatives that appeared within from infinite intelligence and move forward with those initiatives. Allowed myself to be. One could say, you did those initiatives? Yes, I did those initiatives. Why would I not do those initiatives? Those were the things that I genuinely desired to do. That was my role in the play of God. As I played my role, people played their role. Environments played the role. Information plays the role. All is in harmony. I play my role, you play your role. I allow myself to be, I allow you to be. We appear to be in harmony with me. So I don't stifle the flow by not doing the things that I genuinely desire to do. Intuition provides a step, an initiative, a project. I move forward with it without hesitation. If, let's say, there is hesitation, fears, doubt, uncertainty, release, and I take the step anyways. It's okay if I feel fear, I take the step. It's okay if there's uncertainty, I still take the step. It's okay if there's doubt, I still take the step. And what I notice by not identifying with the thoughts of doubt, the thoughts of uncertainty, the thoughts of fear, and allowing body to be, allowing emotions to be, allowing those thoughts to be which appear to disappear, mind is further purified. And then what I find is it is, let's say, a lot easier, way easier than it was before to allow myself to be, to allow people to be. All by doing the things, we could say, as a catalyst, as a spiritual catalyst. The tasks, the projects, the initiatives, making the videos, whatever it was of the entrepreneurial journey, became spiritual catalysts. The plans, hunches, and inspirations that were received within via the sixth sense also provided opportunities for mind purification. So, mind purification, for example, in relationships, prior to conversation, during conversation, after conversation. I can allow myself to be prior to the conversation and start the conversation. I genuinely desire to start the conversation. Why would I not allow myself to be? Conversation flows. I allow myself to be in the conversation. I don't run away from the challenge. I simply relax into the flow because, as Mihai Csikszentmihalyi had articulated in the book Flow, we can experience flow where challenge meets skill. Another way of saying it is you actualize your skill by not running away from the challenge, but by rather relaxing into the flow as there is an access point while the seeming challenge is happening. And why I say seeming challenge is who determines that it's a challenge? It can only be experienced as challenge, no shame and condemnation, through a lens of a belief. Yet that belief can be released by acknowledging that opportunity, which we call transmutation. The point of transmutation is provided in that challenge. It's like what we talked about in Tuesday's video. I bring order to chaos. As in, it can be looked at it from both ways, one way not being better than another. By that I mean, it could sound like Joseph is saying he brings order into chaos and creates more chaos. Or it could be looked at as I bring the order to what appears as chaos. See, I don't have an inharmonious relationship with chaos and order. They're actually in harmony. Chaos and order are inseparable, we could say, and in harmony. It's only the person in mind, the old man thinking, that can suggest this one's a problem or that one's a problem. It appears to be in order, let's say. Chaos appears to be in order, and at times the order may appear to now be in chaos. As I allow myself to be, as you allow yourself to be, and not identify with limiting beliefs in mind that belong to the old man that suggests, let's say, because it appears as chaos or because it appears as order, I am not love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, which is clearly a condition placed upon consciousness. What happens, practically speaking, is you relax into the flow during what can appear as chaos. You relax into the flow in situations which can appear as order. What do I mean by that? I've spoken to some individuals that say that they experience flow in chaos, and when there's order, they don't experience flow. And some individuals say they experience flow during order, but when there's chaos, they don't experience flow. And I said, what if you remove that condition? Because as I had removed that condition, I experienced flow in what could be looked at as chaos, and I experienced flow here. So let's say if chaos is experienced as challenging, there's an access point to relax into the flow, allow myself to be, allow the world to be, allow people to be, and then they appear. We could say orderly to be in harmony. Now, during what could appear as a very linear step-by-step order, it's not like I'm trying to go over there and create chaos because I think chaos is better than order. I naturally flow there as well. So an example would be when I was a teenager. I had this job where I would work in a factory and we would package Pop-Tarts, Kellogg's Pop-Tarts in these boxes. So it was a very, you could say, repetitive job of taking them out of another box and putting them in this box and packaging them in a variety pack. It could be thought of as being a very repetitive, orderly thing. How can you experience flow in there? Well, I turned it into a game. I found that, you know what? I can turn it into a game. And this was before I discovered this information. So that's what I do, actually, with tasks that could be considered very repetitive. I allow myself to be. I allow it to be. I don't consider this better or worse than another particular task. So, for example, if the sixth sense gives me a particular task that is repetitive, I do the task and I experience flow in it. If, let's say, sixth sense suggests automate that, delegate it, optimize, eliminate, then I do that. Yet, if sixth sense provides me that task, I don't run away from it because the person in mind labels it as boring and I can't experience flow. That provides me an opportunity to experience flow. Now, the same is, for example, in a situation where it could be considered very chaotic. I see it as an opportunity to relax into the flow. Why? Because I can allow myself to be here, I can allow myself to be here, and I don't consider one better than another. Because I removed that condition. Because I realized that condition was generating emotional turmoil. It was generating overthinking. It was generating behaviors that we could say are stress-based, force-based. By allowing myself to be as I am, unconditional in that regard, I allow myself to be, I allow this experience to transform to be in harmony, as it is in harmony. Reality appears to be in harmony as you acknowledge that all is in harmony with you. This one transforms to be in harmony as it is in harmony, as you acknowledge that reality is in harmony with you. So in summary, allow yourself to be, allow people to be, allow the world to be, allow reality to be as it is in harmony with you. And this is experience, let's say, practically, physically, emotionally, mentally integrated to the spiritual truth that all is in harmony. What could sound like a very interesting theoretical concept is actually a lived experience by practicing what we're talking about here, which is, for example, anything that I receive via the sixth sense, task, projects, initiatives that are in harmony with my vision. I don't create particular stories in my mind trying to avoid it. I allow myself to be, acknowledging that not only is that part of the play, and I don't worry about everything else because everything else appears to be in harmony, even if, let's say, it's not visible through the five senses. I know via the sixth sense that everything is in harmony. So, you could say, allow myself to be in this task, project, initiative, and if there is overthinking, no shame, no condemnation, opportunities for mind purification. If emotions seem to be dysregulated, seem stressed or force-based, allow those emotions to be released. As you transcend these labels that emotions are experienced as stress or force-based, suggesting that you are stressed or forced, you are transcendent to the emotions, and as you allow them to flow, body also flows, emotions flow, mental clarity arises, and all of that appears to be in harmony. So, without doing any other technique, I did nothing but honor my intuition. Take the steps, you could say, without hesitation. And although there was hesitation in the beginning, that's okay. Through this practice, we can say what merged was intuition and taking that step. What could appear as that illusory gap, which we've talked about before, is closed, and you allow yourself to be, practically speaking, physically, emotionally, mentally integrated with the spiritual truth. You allow yourself to be, you allow people to be, you allow environments to be. Everything appears thus to be perfectly as it is now, as reality is in harmony now. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. You could say, I allow myself to be, I allow the world to be, I allow people to be, I allow environments to be, as everything appears to be in harmony with me. As I remain as I am, perfect as I am now, I acknowledge more so with increasing frequency on a continuous basis that reality appears to be as I am in harmony with all.